everyone, Ashley here. We are back at day 3. So yesterday at day 2, we focused on what are 3 big blockers for you in your business or in your personal development. Now, both of these really do go hand in hand. So if you're noticing that you're lacking in one area of your business, you most likely are lacking within the same area in your personal life. And yeah, let that marinate because there's nothing wrong with that. At the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with that. You are a human, you are learning, you are growing, and this is just how life is. So yeah, today with day 3, we're just gonna do a little bit of a thinking. If you're someone who doesn't already work with a therapist or a coach, or you don't have you're more closed off, you're more reserved with yourself, open yourself up more to be in a community. Open yourself more to, and that doesn't have to be, like I just mentioned, if you want to speak to a coach, a life coach, a wellness coach, there's also specific areas of coaches. I just found out about an anxiety coach the other day, which I was like, very needed in this world. And hey, if you want to talk to your therapist about this too, there's no wrong methods. For myself, I personally have a spiritual teacher who has just been a light in my life, and I'm very grateful for her. So shout out to Nicole. And yeah, having to go back to having a community to talk about these things, because when you can find that community of people, you might be in completely different areas in your business in terms of even the genre, if you must. That's okay. People go through similar moments, and I've personally noticed that I've worked in service industry, I've worked a desk job, I've worked in many different areas where there are moments I can parallel my jobs and say, this was similar to this. So never feel like your voice doesn't matter or that people just aren't going to get you. I highly recommend, if you're someone who is a little more reserved and you're having a hard time finding a community, and I only found out about this last year, so pro tip, check out a co-working space. And when you're looking for a co-working space, make sure that community is something that is important to them, because then you'll know you'll be surrounded by a really great place with great people. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I'm stumbling upon my words here. I'm really excited about this. Now, another resource is to check out your local library for books. And I say your local library because we all can't afford to just buy. And you can now, at least with my local library, I can get audiobooks and digital books, so that it's just super helpful as well. Because I'm a woman on the go. I don't mind a physical copy, but to have something that's already on my phone just feels better. It's more a habit for me. And it's fun. So yeah, I would love to recommend a few books personally. I started this year by reading Spirit Hacking by Shamen Durek. It's a great book. I found it to be a very thought-provoking book, as well as a feel-provoking book. And it's really helped me start my year off so much better. There's a bunch of beautiful spirit hacks that I just absolutely love. So yeah, I recommend that book. And then Radical Forgiveness by Colin is another great book. I enjoyed it, yet I didn't read all of it because a lot of it was a bunch of case studies. or at least what I found to be, that I just wanted to get into the nitty-gritty. I was like, show me the tools because I know these pieces. And he does have some worksheets. So if you just type in Colin Tipping, Radical Forgiveness Worksheet, you'll find a bunch of stuff on the internet. Next, I have The Daily Laws by Robert Greene. That's Greene. And one of my dear friends, she has this book. She was reading it every day last year, and then she continued on this year. And so I thought this was another book that I started at the beginning of the year, and I thought this will be a really great addition to my life on my day-to-day. And they're so beautiful, the writings, and again, they just make you think in a different light. And I love that. I love them. Thank you, Robert Greene. Next, I have In the Company of Women by Bonney. I really enjoy this book. It's one that you don't even have to own it, to be honest. You could rent it from the library here and there whenever you feel you need a little inspiration. Or speaking of blockers, I found it to be a really cool book to learn about different women who are sharing their advice, their stories, and just giving you a little bit about what it's like to run a business. So those to me are some really great books that I recommend. And I'm always interested in learning about more books, so feel free to share them with me, and I can send that around to the registered participants. And yeah, when we have blockers within ourselves, if you are a fan of meditation, whether that be guided or silent, and if you've never tried it, don't worry. The first time, I'll share a little story with you. The first time I tried meditation, I had this perception that, I had to sit there, I had to be silent, I had to do it for hours on end. If I didn't, I was nothing. That is the wrong attitude. And I say this because I was in my teens and I didn't know any better, because you only know what you know. And the older I've gotten, the more knowledge that is being presented to me, the more kinder I am to myself. Hey, I can just do a meditation for 2 minutes. As long as I'm sitting with myself in stillness, that's all that matters. So that is, for me, very important. And I recommend the app called InsightTimer. There are tons of amazing meditations, also soundscapes, and there's also a timer, hence InsightTimer. There's also a timer there for you to just sit in silence, and you'll hear a beautiful ding. And yeah, 10 out of 10 recommend those. So yeah, when you are dealing with blockers, I feel these are great places to start. And even when you're in meditation, and if you are connected to your spirit guides, you're more than welcome to sit with them and just feel into your body and ask them, or ask that organ and say, for example, hey, stomach, I feel you not doing well. Tell me, where does that come from? Allow whatever's in you to release itself, to speak upon itself. And that can look like anything. Maybe it's a sound. Maybe you hear a sound. Maybe you see a vision. Whatever it is, just allow yourself to just breathe into it, and don't hyper-focus. When we hyper-focus on these pieces, it usually doesn't end up working so great in our favor. So I like to recommend just really honing in on some beautiful, just peacefulness. sometimes I even do this in the bath. I'll draw a very nice bath. I'll have my salt in the water and maybe some rose petals, some lavender oil, and some candles, and I'll just soak myself beautifully. And if you're someone who, like, my sign out of the elements, water is my sign, and so I feel rejuvenated after a bath. So if you need to be more connected in that, go to the forest, really allow yourself to move through what works best. And that is how those blockers are going to unblock. When you speak and ask the questions to yourself, when you nourish yourself in it, it's very, very important. So that's that. And if you have any questions, please feel free to comment or message me. I am more than happy to share more. Have an amazing day, and we will catch you tomorrow.